Hi, this is Michael Rony Mullick, and you're watching the Post Market Show. So let's discuss how the markets have traded today. So major news to discuss today: the European inflation data, Indian GDP growth rate data, and obviously the much talked about fall towards the second half today in the markets. So we will discuss everything in today's show. To starting off with Nifty analysis for the day. So Nifty, let me open up the charts of Nifty. So Nifty has actually opened with a gap down today, and from there the markets almost fell 150 points. Then it shot up almost 200 points, and again it fell almost 150 points from there. So it was a very volatile day for Nifty. So we saw the VIX cooling off, closing below 19, below 20, but again today's volatility has actually increased the VIX. So VIX is trading at around 20.4 today. So VIX has actually increased today by 2.5% is what it indicates. So this is how the VIX is trading currently. And so let us look at the Nifties and the fall of Nifty after 2 p.m. and especially the fall aggravated after 3 o'clock to be specific. And this picture is more clear if you look at Bank Nifty's chart. Bank Nifty, you can see it opened with a gap down. It was trading on a consolidating area, but then towards the end it fell drastically. So Bank Nifty after 3 p.m. we have a huge sell off in Bank Nifty as well. So now the reason for this could be the FII selling. So FII sales figures, if we look at today, is not much if you consider both the net buying and selling. It is almost 1,000 crore, which is actually a normal affair these days in the markets. And DIIs have bought 18,045 crore today. So again, it's a very normal thing. But what is abnormal is the buy and sell figures of FII. You can see 45,000 crores of buying and 46,000 crores of selling almost by FII. So that has made huge impact in the market. So this kind of huge amounts of buy and sell orders both by FIIs has created huge amounts of volume, and many stocks have spiked in a random fashion. I'll show you some large cap stocks and the picture would be very clear. So let us look at the chart of HDFC Bank, for example. HDFC Bank, it's a 5-minute chart. You can see the huge amount of candles forming at the end. So each candle is indicating a volume of almost 45, almost 700,000, 900,000 shares. That is the volume. Whereas the other volumes were like 20,000, 30,000 shares, and then 500, 600, 700,000 shares. That was the volume of trading. So let us look at other charts like TCS. You can see TCS, the huge amounts of volume traded in TCS, almost 500,000 shares the last half an hour. Titan, look at Titan again, a very prime example. Look at what happened. This crazy amount of up move, especially the last 5 minutes. So these candles towards the last, you can see that Titan did open with a gap down. It was trading in a range, but after 3 p.m. it shot up like anything. So if you just take in consideration the last candle, the ending is 2218, and it ended at, let me measure it, almost up by almost 3.7% up in just one 5-minute candle, almost 80 rupee up. So this is the kind of thing which happens when these FIIs do huge amount of buying and selling. So the weighted average price is showing 2216, but actual closing what at 2295. That is a huge amount of spike in the last 5 minutes. So that is indicated in the NSE website as well. So this is what happens when the FIIs do a huge amount of buying and selling, and especially today is the last day of May, 31st of May. Sometimes they would like to make a rebalancing of the indexes. They take out some shares from some money from some shares, and then they invest in some other shares. So a lot of buying and selling happens where they do some rebalancing, readjustments, and that is why these kind of spikes in volumes have happened today. So this is again a major thing I thought I should discuss about. So that is, with that out of the way, let us look at the economic calendar, the economic data that was announced. So first we have seen that yesterday the inflation data for German was announced, and it came at a 50-year high of 7.9%. Then today afternoon the European area inflation data came. So that showed almost 8%, 8.1% up. So expectation was 7.6%, but it came at 8.1 percentage. So that is something major. And then what we see is the this is actually the high from 1994. After that, this is the highest amount of inflation for the Eurozone is what we can see. So this is what it is showing in the Europe. And then most importantly, India's GDP growth rate year on year for the first quarter, it came at 4.1 percentage. Expectation was 5.2 percentage. The last quarterly data was 5.4 percentage, but it came at 4.1 percentage. So slightly off the expectation by 0.1 percentage. So nothing major there. And talking about the fiscal year 21-22 GDP growth rate, we have a positive 8.7 percentage growth rate compared to negative 6.6 in the last fiscal year of 2021. So obviously that was the market was recovering from lockdown, so that was it is common to have a negative data, but 8.7 percentage growth rate is I think it is fairly decent for a growing economy. And so this is the growth rate which came in. So it does not look bad, so it is it looks fine. So things are still okay for India currently, and let us see how the markets react tomorrow on this data. So that would be interesting to watch. Next up, let us look at some of the important shares today. So some shares to keep an eye out for today. HDFC, the HDFC Housing Finance Corporation, it is down by 2.56 percentage. Kotak down by almost 3 percentage today, after falling for 2.5 percentage yesterday. Again down by 3 percentage today, almost 5 to 5.5 percentage down in just 2 days. LIC, it announced bad results. The net profit was down by 18 percentage. So the share saw some weakness, almost down by 3 percentage today, ending at 811 and ending at the lowest point of the day in LIC. It also announced a mere 1.5 rupee per share as dividend as well, LIC. So that is something very, very small compared since it's a PSU company, and as well as the IPO listing price was at 950 rupees. So a dividend of 1.5 rupee is not just not justified for LIC. Talking about others shares, ONGC is up by 5 percentage today. ONGC has actually is planning to increase its oil exploration to look out for new areas where they can import, where they can explore oil, maybe through oil rigs in the middle of ocean and all those things. So that is a news. Then there was the taxes which we were expecting, the windfall tax, the government which could introduced in the markets for oil and gas producers. Now that seems to have been withdrawn, or it's not happening at the moment. So that was a positive news. And also on the back of crude oil prices rising, so ONGC had a very, very good day is what we can see. Talking about other stocks, M&M, we saw it has hit an all-time high yesterday, and it continues with a strong momentum. We see a huge amount of volume today as well. Almost 13 million shares have been traded. So it is increasing with a good amount of volume, and it is at an all-time high. So momentum traders would be interested to trade this stock. So this is how M&M looks. Then the market linked stocks, so stocks like CDSL, the depository, it is up by almost 12 percentage today. CAMS up by 9.3 percentage. Bombay Stock Exchange up by 9.7 percentage today. And MCX, the multi commodity exchange, is also up by almost 6 percentage. So we see a very, very good day for the market linked stocks. So these were some of the major stocks that moved significantly today, and we have discussed about those. Talking about index movers today, we see the M&M, ICICI Bank, ONGC, NTPC, Power Grid. So these were the top gainers today, and the top losers was Reliance, down by almost 1.2 percentage, HDFC, Infosys, Kotak Bank, HDFC Bank. So these were the main losers. So talking about the sectoral overview, so out of 11 sectors, 6 sectors have ended in the green, ended in the red, and the rest 5 ended in the positive. So the top loser is Nifty Energy and Nifty PSU Bank, and on the top gainers we see Nifty Reality is up by 2 percentage, and then Nifty Media is up by 1.5 percentage, and also Nifty small cap is up by almost 1 percentage today, when the Nifty large cap, the Nifty 50 has fallen, Nifty mid cap has fallen, but Nifty small cap is up by 1.2 percentage. So that is good to see. Talking about other things, obviously we will be talking about US markets. But before that, let us look at the dollar index. It is, although it went around 102, but it is now trading at 101.7. It is looks fine. USD INR is trading at a range of 77.5 for many days, so that looks fine over there. And talking about the crude oil, the crude oil prices, it is crashing down right now, so that is something good to see. So crude oil today had made a high of $119.96, almost that is almost $120. So it was, we say it was clearly breaking out from this range, and that was never a good sign. So if you look at the 5-minute chart, you can see that the crude oil is crashing like anything in the last 3 5-minute candles. So last 15 minutes, the crude oil crashed from $117 to $114, but now again it is rising. So there is huge volatility in the crude oil prices is what we can see. Talking about US VIX, US markets are open right now, so let us look at how it is trading. The VIX is around 26.09, down by 1.06%. Now let us look at the US markets. So US markets, as you can see, after it opened after 3 days of holidays, so 2 weekends and then the Monday was holiday, so it opened today, and we saw a huge amount of sell-off right at the first candle. But then the markets have recovered the entire losses, and actually it is above the today's opening. So things look very positive out there. And same with Nasdaq, it fell hugely when it opened, and then it has recovered the entire losses, trading in the green. Dow Jones also a very similar picture. It is almost at the last week's high. So this is how the US markets are trading. All of them are slightly in the positive. It opened negative, and but now things looking up over there. Things are positive as of now. And looking at SGX Nifty, we will see SGX Nifty has actually, when the markets opened, SGX Nifty was down hugely. It was down almost 16,443 is what we see as the low in SGX Nifty, but then it has recovered the almost 100 points from there. It is trading at 16,518 right now, so indicating slight bearishness. So let us see where the US markets end and how the markets open tomorrow. Talking about OI activities, we see huge amounts of call being written in both the indexes, Bank Nifty and Nifty. Bank Nifty, although it looks very weak than Nifty, the put call ratio is way below 1. It is currently at 0.71 is what we see in Bank Nifty. Huge amounts of call being written right from 35,500 and above, so 35,000 to 36,000 has seen huge amounts of call writing after the 3 p.m. fall. So this was evident. The people have actually shorted heavily, so that is what Bank Nifty is showing. So 36,000 looks like a very tough resistance for the 2nd June expiry. So this is how the things look like on Bank Nifty, and on the downside we see 35,000 having the highest amount of put OI in Bank Nifty. Talking about Nifty, we see that 17,000 call have added huge amounts of OI today, so good amount of calls were written at 17,000. But on the put side, we don't see much picture, so there was again huge amount of call writing. Put call ratio was almost close to 1.3 yesterday. Now it is close to 1. So this is because the entire market has changed just after 2 p.m. when the major sale off came. So right now the calls and puts are almost balanced is what we can see in Nifty for the 2nd June expiry. So this is how the things are looking. So talking about Nifty levels, we will be looking out for if you look at the daily charts for Nifty. On the daily chart of Nifty, you can see that when the markets opened with a gap up, so 16,500 will act as an important support on the downside for immediate downside. So 16,500 is something you can look out for tomorrow's trade, and on the upside again today's high 16,700. So this 200 point range is going to be important. So if it breaks out either way, market can continue its downward or upward journey. And if the market breaks 16,500, we can see that this gap which was created, markets can come down to fill the gap to 16,400. So that is where the major support is there for Nifty. Talking about Bank Nifty, things 36,000 is going to have a very strong resistance for the short term, and on the downside we can expect 35,300 to hold. If that does not hold, we can expect the markets to come down and fill the gap to 35,100. So these are the levels to watch out for. And so let us see how the markets the US markets close tomorrow, and obviously we will be discussing tomorrow's in the pre-market show we will discuss the important levels. So tomorrow's trade will be important for many reasons. US markets are open after 3 days of holidays. Then we had the Indian GDP data being announced, and obviously it is on Wednesday, so before the first expiry of the June series. So Wednesday is going to be important, so expect some kind of volatility tomorrow. So with that, we will again have the pre-market show tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. in the morning, where we discuss important levels, and if there has been any developments overnight, we will discuss it over there. So with that, I will end the post-market show right here. Thank you for watching.